Imagine walking into a room where everyone knows something is wrong, but no one dares to speak about it. The elephant in the room grows bigger and heavier each day. Families whisper around it, communities pretend it's not there, and society looks away. That's what silence around addiction looks like, and it's not helping anyone. Hi folks, and welcome to Learning Moments. I'm your host, Ron. Today we're going to talk about something that is uncomfortable for many people, and why silence around addiction does more harm than good. And then also why it's time to start talking openly. When it comes to substance use, society often responds with silence. Yes, some yell and scream, usually in horrible ways, and we covered that in a different video. Today, however, we're talking about the silence that usually comes with stigma, from shame and from the fear of being judged. But refusing to talk about addiction doesn't make the problem go away. In fact, it spreads. 9 years as declared health emergency in BC clearly demonstrates what happens when you don't deal with something. The results? It affects individuals, families, communities, and even our public health system. When we stay quiet, people don't reach out for help. Families feel isolated. Communities fail to invest in solutions. And the silence becomes part of the problem. Let's look at why this silence exists in the first place. Historically, addiction was seen as a moral failing, a sign of weakness or bad character. Even today, many people still carry that old belief, and it shows up in ways we talk or do not talk about substance disorders. Families hide what is going on behind closed doors. Parents try to protect their children or their reputation by keeping quiet. Communities avoid the topics altogether because it feels shameful or uncomfortable. Sometimes even our healthcare providers hesitate to bring it up. All of this creates a dangerous feedback loop. The more stigma there is, the more silence we create. The more silence we create, the stronger the stigma becomes. The cost of silence shows up everywhere. In families, silence leads to stress, guilt, and broken communications. Children who grow up in homes where substance use is hidden are at a higher risk for emotional struggles and substance use themselves. In communities, silence divides people. It weakens trust and prevents honest dialogue. And when communities stay silent, they often fail to invest in prevention or treatment programs, especially in the smaller or rural areas. At the public health level, silence delays action. By the time systems respond, harm is already spread through overdoses, health complications, lost jobs, broken relationships. It becomes a costly cycle, both emotionally and financially. So what can we do differently? We start by talking. It sounds simple, but it takes courage, because breaking the silence is not just about starting conversations. It's about changing culture. Here are a few ways forward. For families, create open, honest conversations about substance use and substance disorder, even if it feels awkward and uncomfortable in your family. Look for family-based support or therapy to break unhealthy patterns. One of the best I can recommend is Mom Stop the Harm Holding Hope support groups. Just do a Google search for that and it'll come up. Encourage communication with children early on. For communities, launch education campaigns that treat addiction as a health issue, not as a character flaw. Build trust and inclusion for holding community dialogues. And make sure services are accessible, connected, and stigma-free. For policymakers, professionals, and the government, well, it seems simple, and I know this one is tough, but increasing funding for prevention, and most importantly, treatment, and of course, harm reduction. Provide training for healthcare professionals and providers on stigma reduction. And develop integrated systems that connect addiction treatment with mental health, housing, and support, social support. When we combine these efforts, we begin to replace shame with understanding and fear with compassion. We are all standing at a crossroads. We can keep quiet, look away, and let addiction continue to destroy lives, or we can choose a different path. One where we speak openly, listen deeply, and treat substance disorder as a health issue, as it truly is. Silence fuels stigma. Stigma fuels suffering. But open conversation fuels recovery. The cost of silence is simply too high. The rewards of honesty, compassion, and connection, those are priceless. Let's start talking. Let's break the silence together, because silence around substance use is not neutral. It's part of the problem. And the conversation, like recovery itself, begins with us. This video is a companion piece to our written article titled Breaking the Silence, Why We Need to Talk About Addiction. You can find that article and more articles, videos, and other resources on Learning Moments at Learning Moments, that's all one word, .substack.com. If today's learning moment resonated with you, please share it with someone who might need to hear it. Thank you for joining me today. And remember, change begins when we start talking. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected, and be kind. Bye for now.